No, I'm just kidding, man.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Comic 7 the Hard Way.
Hard talk for the comic fam.
There you go. I'm Hialeah Comic, bro. This is Pope Cerebus. Pope, how you doing?
I'm good, man.
Dude, we're waiting on Mo. He's our third guy, so we're still waiting on Mo. Hopefully he pops in. We'll get him in. Let me just shout out the chat real quick. We got 36, Unruly was first. We got Goat, Comic Rye. What's up, G? We got G, H. Oh man, awesome, man. All right. I first want to start. I wish Mo was here because I want to apologize to Pope and I want to apologize to Mo because we planned on doing this every few weeks and life just gets in the way and certain things have come up with me and it just happens to be on Sunday when the stuff's been coming up and I had to actually fly out. It's anyway. I want to apologize to you guys because I felt like I was just putting us behind but I really couldn't. I wasn't ready to go on one day, and the next day was the Super Bowl, and then last week we were actually in New York. So
we're good, man. The timing's just perfect, I think.
Awesome, man. Okay, we just can't get enough. Thank you for joining, everybody. All right. Hopefully, Mo, like I said, hopefully Mo joins in, man, because I really like the three of us.
Waiting on you, Mo. I hope you're checking the thing, the IG. Thanks, man.
I sent it to IG and everything. So. All right, man. Today's top, we got certain touchy subjects we were going to touch up on a little bit. So the first one we're going to touch up is on spec. You want to start it up? How do you feel about spec?
Woo! I honestly, man, here's the thing is that lately, I will admit that perhaps a year or so ago, I might have been right there with everyone else in the quote spec thing. In other words, the books that I was looking at were encompassing all of those factors, like, who wrote it, who's in it, first appearance, anniversary issue, the special cover,
origin,
artists, following artists and stuff like that. Yeah. So I couldn't say that I'm not, from that mindset. And if I had endless dough, I'd still be doing that right now, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's not the case anymore. I think this last week was probably my lowest week of total books pulled in ever, and I went at 14 so far.
Wow!
And usually I'm about 24 to 25 usually.
Pope, that's a lot of books, man, on a weekly basis.
And keep in mind that most of that's almost hardly any Marvel, hardly any DC, and I'm still pulling 20, 25 books.
That's crazy, dude. We were just talking off air, man, and the trend that we've been seeing is people cutting their pull list. And
right, I was saying I've never seen anybody recently on a video going, "Oh yeah, I'm up in all my so I'm ordering this and this and no." Everyone's like, I'm cutting and gutting.
Yeah, exactly. Look, even you cut it down to 14 books, and look, it can't get enough. Ouch, that's a pain, man. That's 14 books. That's like close to $100, right?
No. I'll be honest with you, man. I went from 60 to 50 to 40. This was about 30 some. Okay. I get 20% off usually. Right. So and I'm not buying $4.99ers unless I can help it. I did buy Tartarus, which was $5.99 this week, and I also bought a 1 in 10 Lola XOXO. But this is just a beautiful cover. It's not a spec.
Yeah,
is it? I don't know. I don't even know what does that even mean?
Dude, okay, yeah. You know what? That's awesome you brought that up. Are cool covers spec?
I don't know.
Or is that
that artist, and I read that book, by the way, too. That book was fantastic.
Okay. There's
an awesome pacing to it. I mean, because you're in a comic book, every 3 or 4 pages feels like a set piece from a movie. Okay. Here's the big chase scene. Here's the big ambush. Here's the love scene. Here's the whatever. That's exactly how that book went down. And it left you with a huge cliffhanger. I can't wait to read the next book. Okay. That's what comics should do.
Okay, but you got that cover. You saw how much did you pay for it? You said 10.
Well, I got it for $8. I got it for twice cover.
Okay.
This is the A cover. I buy the A covers too.
Do you think that cover, that special, the variant cover, you think that's going to go up?
I don't. And that's what I mean is that if that would have been considered, quote, a spec book, I don't know if I really care. I love the fact that every one of the covers they've had for this run of Lola XOXO has had those portrait 1 in 10 covers.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Grass Kings had special covers to the first 6 issues, those needlepoint tapestry ones.
Yeah.
Those are real hard to find. And I have that run because I love that set. But I don't know if I call it a spec. I just cared about it enough to pick it up.
What do you call spec? So what's a spec for you?
I think the honest answer is spec is that book or that item, that thing that a majority of people are talking about prior to it ever doing anything. Or they're speculating on the possibility of a future windfall. That's what it is to me. So if a book's being talked about a lot, you call it a spec book. If no one's talking about it, maybe it's a cold spec. I don't know, but it's still unproven. You know,
Unruly just put kind of like what you said. I only get covers I like. If they're ratios and I like them, that's the same that goes for me. I don't really care if they're going to go up. I just don't want to buy them at a high price. I usually set my variant covers, those I usually put it at 20, and I'm telling you, just like cutting down my pull list, I've really stopped going after them a lot. I've cut it down.
That's a good point. What about this idea too, where you have this notion? Maybe a year ago, I would have had this mindset of this book's coming out, and normally you would have found that only in issue 1 might have had like a heavy presence of cover variants and ratio variants and special virgin variants and stuff like that. But now, you're finding that with inner run books, 1 in 25s, 1 in 50s that go throughout whole runs. I don't think, though, I don't know how to judge those. In the past, what I've been doing is I pick specific ratio variants or specific covers. Once again, just like Unruly would say, I'm just getting the ones that I like. And there you go. If it happens to be a big ratio, so be it.
Okay. Pope, I totally agree. Ever since I started collecting, man, it's all the points that you said: the origin, the first appearance, the keys, certain key issues that happened. That's always been spec. Ever since I was a kid, we used to get books, and we would look in the Mahogany column. You remember that ad that they used to have, and they used to have first appearance,
the grid of all the prices and everything.
Yeah, but it would have like first appearance, origin, and we would almost go by that as a guide because there was nothing else to go by where you could find out where the first Shang-Chi is. You would never, you would think it would be Hands of Kung Fu #1 or whatever, but it's actually special edition. So we would use that. Everybody likes for them to buy a book and the book to go up, man, and getting it on the cheap. Explain this to me, okay? The MCU has totally changed everything as far as spec, okay? But explain this to me. And I said this at my shop the other day, and when I said it, my shop owner, she turned around like, "You're full of shit." But she didn't say, but I caught it, right? And then she didn't say nothing. And I caught it. And I go, and then when I left, I go, "Dude, it does. It sounds like I'm full of shit." And what I said is, why are people going after books now, which they could have had for nothing back then? Why do they care about them now just because they're going to be spec'd on? And you know what? I do that. And it's total bullshit for me to say that because I could have had the book super cheap. So why do I want it now? Because I should have got it when it was cheap. It was, if I wanted it. Now I'm going to pay more because they're spec and everybody's on it. It makes no sense. So I get caught up in that too. And she's totally, I could tell when she turned, she was like, "Dude, I see you buying books all the time. You're going, you like the spec too." And it's true. It's true. You get caught up in it. But why do we do that? I still do that, right? But it gets to a point where I'm not going to pay for a book. If I could still find it cheap, I will. Or for a good price. But if the book jumps from a $10 book to a $100 book, I'm not paying $100 for a book I could have had. I just can't do that, right? But why
No,
do people do that? Why
no,
do
you're
they
right. I
do
think
that?
though that you brought up a dovetail idea too, is that with all these huge ratio books coming out of the gate on Wednesdays at 25, 30, 50, 100, right
Dude,
out the box,
dude, that's
that I think
crazy.
also is what you're saying also. It's the similar idea of, if I don't whatever on this book, if I don't move on it or whatever, am I going to pay $100 down the road?
Later. But you could have had it for $5, so why don't we go and buy it when it was $5 or a
I
dollar?
fully admit, I may have said this one before. I fully admit I had God Country #1, the green cover, in my hand, and I looked at it, and I looked at it, and I go, and I collected all indies. I collected all Image almost.
Yeah.
And I was holding it in my hand, and I go, it's another story about a guy and a sword, and I tossed it back on the pile. By that afternoon, it was 40, $50,
But we
and I still to this day don't have it because I can't imagine. It's the only book in that run, A and B covers, I don't have.
that you don't have. Dude, I know, I'm pretty sure back in the day, man, I'm almost positive. I picked up a TNMT #1. And I saw the turtles and I didn't really, I was like, it's turtles, whatever, and I put it back down. That still bugs me because, I have no attachment to it, but that would have been nice to have that book.
Right. And I'm the same way because, as I said before too, at that time period, there was a huge split of people that were going to go TMNT route back in the 80s, or the people that shunned that and kind of went the Cerebus other independent route,
Yeah.
And you know which way I went. So
yeah, I know which way you went. So
dude,
I love spec, but I gotta tell you, I'm specced out because of the movies and all the stupid. They're trying to make a spec out of everything.
Okay, once again, we've said that word now maybe 50 times, whatever times in this so far. Spec, spec, spec. But here's the thing: name some book that has actually done just what it was supposed to have done. When it comes out, it immediately poof is gone, and it goes up. You can't find it. So that cancels out this idea that people are saying this book's a hot spec book, and guys on here in the community are saying, oh, I can go down to my shop right now. There's 10 sitting on the shelf.
Right.
You know what I mean? What does that mean? I think a book is a true possibility of a one to watch when that book disappears. If a book pulls a straight up Houdini, I don't know what to say, because you won't find that book. You're going to have to go to other sources or just dig hard in multiple locations.
Can you see the chat?
I can't, man. I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay.
I see you're highlighting ones, but my eyeballs are done, bro. I can't read them.
All right. I'm gonna read this one to you because this was me all day, every day for the last 25 years. Can't tell you how many times I flipped past Eternals in long boxes in the 80s and thought, meh. And I love Kirby. Nobody got Eternals, man. That was a nothing book. The New Gods, the same thing. Those books were just dollar books. Nobody thought anything of them. I was the same way, and now everybody's, because a movie's coming out.
Maybe that could be a possible example of that type of a book. A book where when Kirby jumped Marvel ship and went to DC, and he was having to pencil his whole line of books, Forever and New Gods and Mr. Miracle and all that. I don't even think Miracle was that much of a hit, was it?
No, I don't think.
So books like New Gods and then in Marvel on Eternals.
Hey, Pope, real quick, dude. Joey Bag of Sevens. What's up, Joey?
What's up, Joey Bags?
I won a God Country and a giveaway. We can work something out. So maybe you want to hit him up after.
Yeah, man. If you're not tied to that book, right on. I just like the cover, and I don't know what I was thinking then. But I have so many stories like that, man. I don't consider myself lucky, but right now, if I talk about like recent stuff, I don't think I'm chasing any kind of spec, so to speak. So when I held up that book and you asked me if it was my spec or whatever, I don't even think that, because to be honest, most of the books I'm picking up, nobody even has heard of, dude.
Yeah, I know what you pick up. You showed on your videos, and and nobody picks up the books you pick up.
Hey, who's picking this book up, dude?
What is
This
that?
is Dragonfly and Dragonfly Man. Now, at first glance, you would look and you would say, what the hell is that? But this thing is amazing, dude.
You know what I would say if I saw that? I would say that's a Pope book.
Yeah? Oh, good. Well, then right on. That's fine. I'm down with that. But inside that book, not only is it a great story, well drawn, but at the very end of the book, it has no less usually than 3 separate mini works of fiction or maybe editorial or something like that by different people. They give you all this stuff. They have really great advertisements. On the very back of the page, it has one of those picture on top of similar picture, and they say, can you spot all 12 of the variations? You know, it's just an entertaining book. It's got various levels of entertainment in how they put it together. If you wanted to read some great stories, it has those in the back, kind of like people that have interesting letters pages in the back of their books. You know, it's just an extra bit of stuff if you like that stuff, or they make it interesting. But it just hits on so many levels, that book. And that spins out of Wrong Earth from Ahoy Comics. It's actually a spin-off.
What's up, Discovery? Hey, Pope, Goat has a comment. People have been going spec on Atlas books. Never wanted them, still don't. And you know what, Goat? I'm guilty of that. I got them for a super, $3-4. I found them in nice condition, and I got them for that price. You know what? Why not? I never wanted them. But, dude, if they could go up, why not get it, man? You never know.
I think in the regard to those books, I think really like maybe let's run through the points. As an anomaly, it's a publishing company that came out. They wanted to, go at the big companies. They had great creators. A lot of different variety in their offerings. You had your Conan types, your Iron Jaws, your vampires. You had that whole spectrum.
Right.
But not one of those books ran past what, 4 issues?
Yeah, very short.
That was crash and burn. So for people that are interested in those in the artists, I want to say like Tales of the Vampires or whatever. I'm interested in that offhand just because I like the vampires and the horror and stuff.
Right.
So I look for that book. Grim Ghost, I know I have a copy of that, and I picked it up because of that idea that Grim Ghost of that run might have been the better, one of the better books across that platform. I have a few. In fact, I think I have some right up here, right behind me.
So
is that a spec? I don't know. I don't think so.
It was for a hot minute.
Why though? Because somebody said so.
Because somebody said something about a movie.
That's what we were going to talk about too, right? With the proliferation of channels on YouTube, there's going to obviously be a number of those channels that are going to say, here's my hot picks for this coming Wednesday, or here's my top 10 for the week, or here's my spec for whatever. So there's just more of that. Are we causing the problem too?
I think so. There's one channel, and I love this channel. It's Jim's Comics.
Yeah,
I love Jim's Comics. The guy's on point. He knows what he's talking about. He's got a ton of subs for a good reason. But when he says a book is going to go up, dude, it affects the market, and books go like the Omnipotentis. He talked about that book. That book spiked when it first came out. He talked about it last week, and now it's like a $40-50 book again, 60. Dude, he's having an effect.
If I recall, because he talked about it originally.
Yes.
When it first came out, because he was still knee deep in buying Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur every week.
Yeah.
Because he kept saying, man, there's so many appearances, Fisk's daughter, and all of that stuff, the low print runs. So he's really hitting on all those points. I don't begrudge him for that. I'd say a majority of the people in the community would go, why am I buying Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur? And didn't.
Exactly.
And so if in the future Fisk's daughter or Omnipotentis, whatever, comes back and, maybe Donnie Cates throws a tweet out, now it's like,
Yeah,
Red Death everywhere. Everyone's killing each other for a copy of that book.
it's like everybody has feelers out, just looking for the next. What's anybody saying, or what's? Oh my God, what's gonna be the next book? It's like crazy.
But as I show the Atlas books, my oh dude, yeah, you want to see the Iron Jaw and the Scorpion and Grim Ghost?
Dude, those are good artists. That was Neil Adams, wasn't it? Bug?
Exactly.
Yeah, some real good artists.
I'm going to say my hypocrisy knows no bounds because I bought 2 of those books back when Jim mentioned it a long time ago. Like I told you, I was in that mindset then.
But you got them for, did you pay what they were
going? No, I cover price.
Then that's fine. I see that as no problem. But when you start buying a brand new book, you don't even know it. Okay, another example is, what was the, oh my God, Naomi. Dude, 9.8 of a brand new book. It's only been out like 3 or 4 months, and it's like a $600 book. Are you out of your mind?
Did you not feel perhaps or smell setup with that book though?
Yeah.
Setup in the sense that look at your indicators. Tried and true artist or a writer, sure, but he's coming onto a new company and been given a whole free reign on a bunch of different titles.
Right.
So he throws out this new character, and everyone's like, "Oh, this character is going to be so important later." Okay, but she's not now. And so what do? Do you buy into it heavy? Do you wait on it? Do you, I keep here. I love that people love Ms. Marvel and they love specking on Kamala Khan, but when is that ever going to happen? In my opinion, I don't see it. So I don't really, maybe I have some of those books, those, her appearances books, but I'm not holding my breath.
Yeah, but I think that's a good character, man. That Kamala Khan, I think she'll see her day. I think I have one book. I didn't get on that train fast enough, and I'm not going to be paying for it now. If I would have got it at cover, I would, or a little bit over. Yeah, I would take a chance on one issue. I'm not buying 15 issues.
Yeah. I want to come back to this, but you also made me think of something else that blows my mind. Right. And let me tell you what I think on this subject. When you talk about the introduction of CGC influence and grading as it entered the market in relation to price, it's that there are people that go out and are actively 9.8 fanatics. If it's not a 9.8, it's dead to me,
dude.
Right?
And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong.
No. But here's the problem that I was pointing out that could be a little questionable, in my opinion.
Right.
Do you go out and search for that book and find it in a copy worthy of a 9.8 grade and submit it and only have in cover price, 20 some bucks and shipping to CGC, and it comes back a 9.8? Or are you going out and dropping $300 on a site or on a whatever or on eBay to secure your 9.8? That's a bigger question. And as you say, so be it. If that's how you want to roll, I wish I was you, man. Yeah, I'd be using that $300 to not buy some modern book that just came out a couple weeks ago, and I'd buy my Defenders 1 finally and have that hole filled forever.
I wouldn't go out and buy it for $300 already just to guarantee the 9.8. I'd rather just have a raw one, and you don't have to have that 9.8, man. You just don't. I know I have a lot of slabs, but I'm going away from the slabbing. I'd rather just have it raw. I've actually cracked out some slabs because I didn't get the 9.8. I was like, you know what? I'd rather enjoy the book. I don't need it in a 9.6. I don't need it in a 9. You know what I'm saying? Not that everything has to be 9.8 with me. It doesn't. But sometimes if, let's say, a new book gets like a 9, dude, I'd rather just crack it open and I'll just have it raw, and I'm happy with that.
Yeah. Well, I've been having some, back and forths with the whole idea too. But but I just see the amount of money that's being directed in whatever directions. For instance, on the high ratio variants, on reaching high dollar prices and paying high dollar prices for high grades, 9/8 or whatever. Marvel going from 33 titles in 19 whatever to over 100 titles now. You know what I'm saying? So there's way more titles that Marvel is out there trying to sell you and soaking up. The other thing I wanted to mention, do you remember this concept, Hialeah? The filler issue?
Yeah, man, of course.
Like a run would be going, and then all of a sudden a couple issues would go down, and then another story would start or whatever.
Yeah.
There's filler issues. Well, I think this idea, I'm curious to see. It seems like every issue that's not one of these spec books, everyone treats as a filler issue. And that's not any, I have no evidence of that. I'm just saying they're not that valued.
Right.
The runs, only the people that are out there speccing, they're not buying the runs. They're only focusing on those particular ones. And I don't also think that there's a distinction too between the collector that's trying to approach their collection in that way and a traditional flipper. Those guys focus on a handful of books and buy the hell out of them.
Yeah.
And they're waiting for that day where they can pull that trigger and start to let them out. You know?
The thing about the fillers, man, you know how I feel about the filler books, buying runs. I remember back in the day, I used to get runs, and when you would find that filler or that one issue that you were missing at a shop because you went to 2 or 3 shops, and you got on a high, not because the book was a key, it was because it completed your run or it was to complete your run. Basically, that to me, runs are pretty much over. You know how video killed the radio star?
Yeah.
I think eBay killed the run collector, because now you're not going shop to shop finding a, man, you could find a book at a click of a key, you know? It almost takes the fun out of it, man. So that's how I feel about runs and fillers and all that stuff.
Perhaps, I think though, but I do think that it does break down per collector, because if a collector likes Wolverine, let's say, they're going to go out and they're going to want to fill in their run of Wolverines and get the latest Wolverines, and so be it. But I mean, you try to talk to a current X-Men collector, completist, and see how they're doing. I feel for that, man. How many books are they having to put down every month? They're probably getting as many books as I get regularly, and those are mostly just X-Men's and a couple, hot Marvel books.
Yeah.
And once again, I'm not criticizing that, because the people that are reading those X-Men and loving it, so be it. I love Jonathan Hickman.
Yeah,
I love Jonathan Hickman. He would have been a person that I would say I spec on. Meaning, if Hickman puts out a book, I was on it. But that's like Black Monday Murders and all of his stuff since then. You know what I'm saying? Nightly News. Nightly News was a long time ago, man. Jonathan Hickman, one of his first things, it was phenomenal. And so I've always saw him.
Let me just make right here. He put, I don't know, Hialeah. You could find entire runs on eBay, but I'm talking about the joy of finding that 1 or 2 issues when you would go to a shop and you had, let's say, the first 50 and you're missing 13, 27, and 31, and you find those books at a shop, dude, that was joyous. Because I remember filling my X-Men run and it was like, oh my God, I need this one, and finding it. Now I could read it. Now I can continue reading it. I know the whole story. Yeah, you can buy a whole run, but it's not the same as before back in the day, man. It's not the same.
I just found myself contemplating getting the hip hop variant cover for Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur #1. We were talking about Moon Girl a second ago. I saw that one and I was thinking, man, that's one you don't see a lot. It also reminds me too of a friend of mine. He collects those frame covers, those Marvel 25th and 80th or 75th frame type covers. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And if you know anything about those, it's the what is it, the Care Bears, the Ewoks, and Heathcliff, and all of those covers that are the ones that are hard to find.
Isn't it the Care Bears? Isn't the Care Bears one the hard to find one? It's like a pink.
I can't. I don't know. I know recently I actually came up on 3 of those, and I sold them at an auction, and they went like bam. So I was amazed. So that's an interesting one. Like when you come across those books and you know that that's going to help complete your run. What an odd book, but I would say if you were ever hunting and you saw those particular books, I would pick those up.
That's like a niche collector, though. That's like a niche, like Metarog with the price variance that he has. That's an amazing collection.
Absolutely.
Right? To have any of those, but that's a more niche. Man, there's so many ways to collect. It's crazy. That's what it makes it such an awesome hobby.
You're absolutely right, and I'm nothing against Metarog, unbelievable. But he put that collection. I'll bet he put that collection together well before this YouTube maturation. I couldn't imagine people doing that now, putting together a whole price variant run.
No, I'm pretty sure he started that back in the 70s, and it took him a good bit of time to complete that. But
absolutely.
That's an amazing way to collect. I wish I would have thought of it. But the thing is, too, those books were only in certain areas, so you had to do your job. There was only, like, I think 3 markets for that. So that's impressive. That's one of the most impressive ones I've seen people collect.
Absolutely. The due diligence to have to go out and find those really odd price variants. And I've heard him in detail go and where they were from, what markets they were distributed in. Man, he had to go all the way down to the bedrock to find the answers there.
I think I've only seen one. I've only come across maybe one in all my time hunting, and it was an expensive one. I didn't pick it up because it's not, it was not a book I wanted or anything, and I'm not into the price variance, but I still think it's awesome.
I used to feel that way too, in a sense, about newsstand versus the direct market or the Spidey head corner. I used to love the artwork on the Spidey heads, and I thought that the UPC was just ungodly ugly.
It was. I don't care about newsstand, if it's newsstand or if it's not. I could care less. I totally agree with you.
But you understand that there are people out there that collect the DC Universe variants. They collect heavy on books that are newsstand. Obviously, the Star Wars #1s from Marvel, the newsstand price variant or whatever is thousands. It's all out there, but I just want to see the books be looked at for what they are supposed to be, which is amazing lately. The stories are just unreal that I've been reading.
I'm just saying, look, as far as spec, I am really tired of trying to create a spec when it's really not a hot book. I'm just tired of it. I just got overloaded with it. It's like, oh, this is a spec because the Moon Knight one, because there's a white dot on the cover, and that one's more rare than the. It's like, come on, dude, who cares, man? Really? There's one, the one that came out a few months ago with Hellboy, that on issue 14 of new X-Men, that there's a poster of him there. That's really his first. Man, come on, dude. Really?
I've heard that, and I always thought that there were prior advertising appearances, and it's well known at the time when I was collecting a long time ago that the advertisements, while any completist of Hellboy or Spawn or whatever, all those others that have, they would want to collect those because that's their jam,
right?
But everyone would say, sure, but this is the first appearance right here, and it may have had several before it, but that one's the first appearance. I think that's still legit, that they're advertising appearances or cameo appearances, and then there's first full appearances. It's not a big deal. It's only people that like to split hairs. Yeah. If you're into that character, you're going to get both. You're going to say you're going to get a 181 Hulk and not a 180?
Yeah.
Please.
Exactly. No, and then you could go and get those ads. What is it? I think there's one in Iron Fist. There's one in Thor.
In Thor 215 or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, there's a few. Those are cool, but I don't think that raises the price on that book. I think it's just a cool. It might raise it a little bit, but it's maybe it's But it's only an older book too, so it would be worth a little bit more, you know?
Yeah, but I do love that cover on that book though, with him slamming the hammer down and all the.
But it's not because of the ad. But it's not because of the ad. It's a cool ass cover, man.
Right.
It's a cool ass cover, and if you get it in high grade, that's a Bronze Age book. You should pay more for it, but not because of the ad.
And also, don't you also feel or think that it's kind of ridiculous to say Werewolf by Night's got a movie coming out, therefore it's a hot spec book? That book's always been hot, you know? And I think in a lot of ways it's even hotter than some of the other high profile books, because arguably there are just less of that book in high grade, especially.
Hey, Unruly just brought up another one.
I love Unruly, man.
He's awesome, dude. Or the background is a darker blue on some copies. You know, it's like, come on, man. There's the one with Galactus on what was it, a Secret Wars or something? That Galactus is a different color.
He's purple or something, or he's pink or something. I don't know. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Dude, I just don't get it, dude. I just don't get it. But you know what? That's the hobby, and that's okay too, man. You know, whatever. If it rocks your boat, I know I'm not paying up for that because it's a rare one, or if it's not. I just really don't care.
Well, what happens, man? What happens when someone says or tells another person that they can't that they're collecting is shitty? What happens then, man?
Oh, okay. We're switching topics. Okay.
Oh well.
Listen, okay. We had another topic that we're gonna touch up. I think we pretty much. There's always room for more.
Hey, look at the time, man. Boy, it's getting late.
All right. Before we went on, Unruly. I mean, Pope brought up.
Here comes Needmo. Needmo's coming on right now, isn't he?
I hope. No? I don't see him yet. He's not back.
Man.
I would love for him to be here, man.
Woo.
But okay. You want to say what you were bringing up?
Just before we came on, I was asking you because this is hard talk, man. I did want to throw out my hard take for the week, and that was what I've said previously: is this comic community that we have is pretty amazing.
Yes,
and that is well known and well documented. And I think that in order to maintain that and to have it be actual and not just lip service, I was asking you, how do we go about dealing in this medium of digitally online? You know, when you get like a text from someone, you get a written little bit of text, and you don't necessarily know how that person meant it.
Yes,
you could read it like two different ways. I would say we should assume that it's meant in a good way, as opposed to reading it the negative way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can assume the best of the person as opposed to want to assume the worst. So that's all I'm asking is, what happens in this situation?
Okay.
Do we risk becoming what we don't want to be, which is petty and vindictive and all this other nonsense that we really don't have time for? There's too many books to keep track of, man. We don't have time for the extra nonsense. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
What's your take, bro?
Stuff's come up this week. Some of you may know. I'm not gonna get into it, but I think it was handled the right way, or it was handled a way, and stuff came out. I'm not gonna go into it. But this community is amazing, but it's not perfect. For the most part, it's pretty damn near close, man, because everybody just loves our books and we love sharing books and all that. But things like everything else, there are gonna be run-ins or disagreements, and how do we handle that? Some people air it online, live, and I would just rather do it behind the scenes if there is a problem. We don't need to get, like you said, petty. What's up, Silver Age Dave?
Dave.
Also, if you don't like a channel, you don't like what they're putting out, man, all you have to do is not watch. It's not that hard to get away from it, man. There's channels that I don't particularly like, And that's okay. I know there's people that don't like me or like my videos. That's perfectly okay. Don't watch, but let's say the channels I don't tend to watch, I don't go and thumb down. It's just they're doing their thing, I'm doing my thing, and it's not like we have a beef. It's just somebody I'm not watching. It's not about a beef. I've seen where there's been beefs, and I just think the high road's the best way, and just leave it at that, man. You don't really need to get into a hissy fit or.
Well, yeah. I think ultimately people, if they're I don't know. I'll be honest with you.
I don't got a problem if somebody goes live and not rip somebody, but puts their 2 cents in. Hey, this is the way I feel. I don't got a problem with that either. It's just you got to do it. And this week there was an issue, and I thought it was handled very professionally. It didn't get ugly. People, they discussed it, and it was done tastefully, and that's the way you're gonna do it. You're not gonna get ugly. If you don't like somebody's channel, man, don't watch. There's plenty of other people to watch. There's plenty you could, and you know what's funny that you kind of notice there's cliques, like in everywhere else there's cliques. I'm in a clique. There's different cliques, and people tend to stick to. We're just humans. It's almost like high school. There's certain people that hang out with each other. There's a group over there in high school. There's another group over there.
That's great you say that, because honestly and arguably, that really was the thing that I was hoping to avoid.
Right.
Why would you want? Not to say that people can't affiliate or whatever.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's that,
Mm-hmm.
but it's the thing I was saying before is, what is the expected level of discourse among individuals? I think that there should always be a wide berth, and it shouldn't have to, because when we brought this up, man, it was in regard to, what if you're dealing with a person and they send you a damaged book, or not what they said, or they don't ship it at all? That's the type of thing we really want to focus on.
Oh, we're going to talk about that in a second.
Yeah, and almost never has that been the case.
Yeah.
I've heard of people that have shipped not 9.8, 10.0 books,
mm-hmm.
that somehow got lost, and they were replaced. Just communication and whatever. That's a big thing. I've never heard a lot about bad transactions, and then you would imagine there would be.
Pope, before we go too much, let me just read Silver Age Dave, man, because Silver Age Dave to me is a pillar of this community, man. He's just.
I would love to hear his thoughts for sure.
He just put, it's easy for us to ignore spats. Move along, nothing to see here, and that's exactly right, man. We're just having fun, dude. It's nobody, we're just having fun, sharing a hobby, and either resolve it offline, don't resolve it, don't watch, don't, it's just move on, man. It's just move on. But it's for the most of, I can't, it's just, man, dude, we're just looking at comics, man. Oh, Comic Head, I just popped in from Economic Stream, congratulated him on 1 million views, and that was nice. Gonna push that positivity. There you go, bro. But it's all class, bro. Kenny, you're all class, dude. You're all freaking class, bro. But yeah. Thanks him. Yeah, man. You're freaking pillars. Silver Age Dave. Every time you pop in, man, everybody just lights up. Hey, Silver Age is here. It's awesome, dude. You're just positivity coming out. Okay. Let me just read this, because this is a great point. Bake the Snake just put. Just didn't like how played the victim and sent all his followers. Okay, man. I guess it's out. All right. There was a beef this week where economics kind of didn't like what Perry was doing. Felt Perry was mocking or whatever it is.
Hey, I'm sorry to interrupt, but isn't this the time to let that go?
Yeah.
That's what Dave said.
Yeah. No, Bacon's just putting it out there. And it's don't play the victim. There's channels that I don't watch, and it's because I always feel like they're playing a victim, and I'm not. It's not even economics. It's, oh my God, this is getting touchy. But just don't play the victim, man. Nobody likes the victim. I try to tell my kids, dude, it's not always the other people, man. Sometimes it's you. Look at yourself. It's constantly happening. You know what I'm saying?
I love this show.
This is really good. Kenny's just put back. I don't know if I'm all, dude. Kenny, you're all class, bro. But there's some in there. Wasn't high key enough to call you beef. Yeah, exactly. It wasn't. Dude, it was just a nothing. It was really nothing. It was really nothing. What's up, JP? You know what you were just saying about the books, about the selling? That's, if I was ever to sell books, like, you know how they do boxes or they do auctions? I wish Mo was here for this, man.
I know.
Selling on an auction, I would be, let's say, you know, when people show a book and they put like, oh, I think it's a 6, it's got a few ticks, it's all this. I would be so nervous sending a book that I said I graded and I'm no freaking grader. And then I sell that book and the people get it and they don't disagree, they disagree with it or whatever. I'm scared of that, man, because I don't want anybody calling me out. Hey, it doesn't happen, but I imagine it has happened, right?
That's what I'm saying, man, is that's really the framework that I was trying to bring this up in, is that you would think with the number of transactions and the number of individuals that those would be the things you would be most concerned about. Okay. And that is what I think the as far as my mind was, that was the only thing that I thought would be concerning, because the nature of people were very respectful and all that kind of stuff. So when a situation occurs where there's a problem, contact a person on IG. If the person responds and you work it out, end of thing. If they don't contact you and they stonewall you and don't work it out, you haven't received the book or it's not the book they said, then we can turn to the community with facts and hard data saying, I did this, I contacted him here, this is what happened, what's going on.
Right.
So that if other people that know that person would call them up and go, bro, what happened? Oh, I just don't have that book anymore. I don't know what happened. Then maybe they can work a way to fulfill that or just refund the money and push on. Right.
Okay, but if something like that happens, do you put that person on blast and put them out there?
How? Before contacting them? Before trying to figure out if they can even resolve the issue?
No.
I had a thing where a guy sent me a book. I ordered 2 books. He sent me the one book and a completely different wrong book. And I contacted them and I said, what happened here? Oh, I'm sorry. I must have put the wrong book in there, whatever. I showed him the book that it should have been, and he sent it back out to me. Problem solved.
You handled it like a man.
I sent the book back to him in good faith, the one that he, whatever. I sent it back to him and we were square. That's the type of thing that makes us say, wow, this comic community is badass. There are people out there that have had bad experiences, but I wanted to put a freeway out here to see this is the path that you should try to travel. If you travel that way in good faith and it doesn't happen, then we do have the community to turn to and say, look, this is what I did. This is exactly what happened. What should I do? Or I'm going to call this person out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Let me ask you, I see you in a lot of the auctions. So I know you've bought stuff on auctions. Have you ever gotten a book and you're like, damn, this isn't what they described? Have you ever had that issue?
I've had 2 experiences, and I say 2 because there are really only 2 that come to my mind when I have a question like that.
Right.
And one happened a long time ago, and I don't ever frequent that individual's channel. I can honestly, God, I don't even know if I unsubbed them. I just don't frequent their channel. I don't say anything to or about them or anything like that. I just, whatever. I won't do that again. Fool me once. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
What exactly happened? You bought a book and it came out. It wasn't in the condition you thought they purported it to be.
in this particular case, it was a lot, like not of the same book, but of advertising, hundreds of books, and I picked out maybe 30 of them or whatever,
Right.
And of the 30 I get, a lot of them were actually damaged. A lot of them were actually, maybe not in the best shape to justify overall what they were charging for them. And I probably understand that this situation was someone went out to their 25-cent or dollar bin and pulled out a bunch of cool books, but then in the advertising and in the display of them, it wasn't really detailed. Oh, by the way, this corner is all munched on this one, or whatever. So you were assuming that these were pretty decent books because they were charging 5, 6, 7. You know what I mean? Right. You start to add that up. It was quite a big dollar amount purchase that I made, and I was very specific because I'm an idiot. I'm a run collector. I'm not buying keys. I'm not trying to cherry pick your stuff. I need this book and this book and this book, but I want them in a good shape.
No, exactly.
So when I got them, I was upset, yes, but I didn't really follow up. I just said, well, I'm not going to do that again.
You just let it go.
I had to, man.
Because I know you're a run collector, but you love, like, what is it? Your Thors, you like them in 9.4 condition?
I like everything in high grade because it's just that's the thrill for me.
Right.
I don't want to shoot a little deer in the front yard. I want to stalk a huge buck and nab that 1 in a million that you just can't find. And like I say, I don't want to pay 9.8. I don't want to pay $600 for it. I want to find it raw and go that route.
Let me just read a few comments, man. Okay, I feel we can handle. This is 36 Chambers.
Right.
I feel we can handle it in-house. Everybody knows somebody. And no need to go public. That's my 2 pennies. I totally agree with that.
I agree with that too.
This is a very informal marketplace we have here on IG and YouTube. We have to self-regulate if need be. But Pope is right. Reach out to that person first. No, totally, man. Totally. Be upfront about it. Bake over here. You always try to keep the communication lines open. Only after you get ghosted, unresolved, do you let the community know what's going on. And
I think that's legit because you don't want it to happen. If you let that stuff go another day or two, it could happen to somebody else.
Exactly.
It could happen for a larger amount of money. It could happen for whatever. That's the thing I'm saying, man, is that most of the time it's amazing what goes down here. The type of individuals that are willing to give, people that are willing to donate money to causes, and they're using comic books as the coinage.
It's very
that is amazing, dude. And I think that's the type of stuff that we need to preserve, those types of values, and understand this ain't high school, man. Nobody in here's 16.
Yeah.
Everybody in here is like a well enough age that we could, like those guys were saying, try to handle it. And if for whatever reason someone out there doesn't have the big boy pants on to deal with it, then others should probably know.
Yeah. I totally agree, man.
You got to try to resolve it first and then see what happens.
We're already like at an age, especially as older guys, that it's like, dude, I'm too old for this shit, dude. It's like, come on, dude. Move on. Get it over with. Handle it and move on, dude.
And to bring it full circle, that's the same thing you said at the beginning of this thing about spec. Boom.
Yeah.
Tied up. You're too old for this bullshit spec.
Yeah, dude, I'm too old for it, dude. It's just driving me nuts. Let me just read Bud has a comment. This community is not universal. Some people are really just hunting subs, which is he avoids channels that name their followers. That is usually a clear sign. What else? Let me see. Unruly. Bake, I agree. Yeah, dude. Where's Joey? I had to. Oh, never mind. Look at. Okay, I'll read it. Joey back at Sevens. I had to ask a hooker for a refund once.
There you go.
Good for
there
you.
You go. You got to go up the food chain. You got to. If you don't resolve it with her, then you got to talk to her guy.
Yeah, you got to talk to the guy. But dude, I really wish Mo would have been here.
Yeah, man. He said he was good to go. I don't know, but
as things come up, man. Lord knows they come up for me. So
yeah.
But guys, we're at an hour, man, but we're pretty good, dude.
Yep.
I
It's
love
your
it.
hour. It's your hour every week or week in 2 weeks,
Yeah.
and of hard talk. Let's be better at collecting
Yeah.
what we love and being fine with that.
Yeah, man, I just want to thank everybody that showed up. I don't know if we resolved anything. We just got our 2 cents in. We just wanted to touch on spec and the YouTube controversies.
Yeah. But if the people in the chat that you were mentioning are saying these are people that need to hear this type of stuff,
Yeah.
So I think that is good that we did get something out there.
Yeah.
Try to handle what we need to handle, and only as the last resort, do we need to maybe make a thing about it.
Yeah.
Just avoid the BS, man.
Yeah, avoid the BS, bro. It's just life is too short, dude. We're all, I'm doing this for fun. I know you are too. This is great entertainment. It makes life easier. You come in, I come into my room, I get on YouTube and I just start watching or I just start talking and it's just like a release. It's like my safe place. I love being on. And it's just fun, man. It's just fun, hopefully we keep it that way. Hopefully it doesn't change because a lot of people the majority of everybody that's on all these comic book channels are good freaking people and they just love the hobby, man. And hopefully we keep it that way. I hope it doesn't get too complicated.
I honestly feel too that naturally comic collectors, once they, there are only so many comics, to be honest, even though there feels like there are a lot. For certain collectors, once they hit what they're looking for, maybe they will transition out. Maybe they will, not be as active. They'll be like travelers stopping in every so often or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And they get what they get out of it. People transition out. But I think those people that really have or create drama and are issue people and want to, not go about things in ways that are beneficial to all the community in a whole, I think they will disappear too.
Yeah, but you know what's awesome? I don't see too many of those people on these comic channels.
But that's what I mean, though. But I mean, I understand. In my memory, I can recall people that I don't see anymore.
Right.
And those were perhaps sometimes people that they gave that moniker to.
Right.
And they just problem child or whatever. Yeah. And those people went away. The people that are here, especially people that are doing a lot of work.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily, I have no affiliation with anybody. Like you said earlier, I don't know. I couldn't say I'm affiliated with anybody, but anyone and everyone you've mentioned in the chat, from Bub to 36 to people, all those dudes are awesome to me.
Yeah.
So if those people hear me, I'm just talking for me. The people that put in work in this community, the people that have big, high-profile channels, man, that's a lot of work.
Oh, kudos to them, dude. Kudos
to all helping to help us.
Because it's a lot of work, dude. To get your channels, I know they put in a hell of a lot of work to get their subs and put out the content and be consistent. Reggie does a show every day. I believe it comes out at 5 Eastern, and then he does the Saturday one. And Bueller, Perry, Disco. My God, Disco! How much work does he put in, man?
And just in the same way, man, I see certain people that I watch certain things from because I can't watch it all.
You can't watch it all.
But of the stuff that they do put out that I do watch, I try to get, comment and be positive and everything or whatever. And the ones that I don't necessarily watch all the time, I probably would if I had more time.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to cut anyone out, but I think everyone does a lot of great work for this place. And if you don't, it'll come out.
Yeah.
Right on?
You'll be discovered. You'll be discovered. Yeah, you'll be discovered. Okay, guys, we're going to cut it. It's an hour. Thank you, guys. Bye, Mo. If you watch this on replay, man, we missed you, bro. Hope you're back next time. It's not the same without you, man. We really wanted to do it with the three of us. Pope, thank you so much. Everybody in the chat, we had a great chat.
All right.
Hopefully we answered some questions. Hopefully we didn't. But it's our 2 cents. But anyway, guys, everybody, thank you so much, and peace. Be good, and see you next time on Comic 7 the Hard Way. Be good.